Okay. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? Happy Wednesday. I am Beth Chatterton, your friendly neighborhood 4-H program coordinator. And for today's DIY, we are going to focus on cards, and we are going to make a pop-up Valentine's Day card. So one that actually pops up and is 3D. And this idea is very simple to make. You can make your very own cards for very little cost. You can even, if you wanted to, make your own pop-up book with the same technique. So what you are going to need today is some paper. You can do different colors. You're going to need some scissors, an adhesive of some sort. I prefer glue sticks just because, like you guys have seen, I'm very messy with my crafting and my cooking, but regular glue works just as well. And you are going to also need a writing instrument if you choose. And then once I show you how to do the card, I'm going to show you what the next step is, and we're going to talk about addressing envelopes so that you can send your lovely creation to a friend or family member. So let's get started. So the first part is for our pop-up card. You can use any colors you want. You don't have to do a heart. I just thought heart would be fitting for Valentine's Day, and it's one of the more easier shapes to make. So I am choosing a white color for the inside of my card. I'm going to show you why I put pink on the outside, and then I've got red and pink for my heart. So the first part is to take a piece of paper, and you are going to fold it in half. I took a sheet of printer paper and I cut it down the middle. So if you fold it like a hamburger, I cut it that way. So that's where this size comes from. So you take your sheet of paper and you fold it in half the best that you can. And then I always just give it a really good crease. So now it has become a card. I'm going to choose to have it where they kind of open it this way. So we've made our crease. Now how do we make the action feature the pop-up part? That's where our scissors come in handy. If you are a perfectionist, you are more than welcome to take a ruler and to measure where the exact middle is in your card. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, and what I'm going to do is kind of determine where the middle is. I'm going to take one snip, kind of do about an inch, and then right next to it I'm going to cut the same, and this is going to be where it's going to pop out. If you wanted to make it wider, you can. If you want to do multiples, you can. I would start off with one just to kind of get like the basic feel for it, and then just kind of get creative after that. So when you open it up, it doesn't simply pop up, does it? No. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take the part where we cut and we're going to fold it and make a crease. So it's going to look just like that. Then you're going to fold it so that it's flat again. We're going to give it an open and we're going to push it out. And right where that crease is, we're going to have it lay flat. And we're going to kind of just like push it and just kind of like smush it. So then that crease is really there. So that when we pop it out, it is, oops, sorry, the light, there we go. You can see that it has popped out. So that is where we are going to glue our shape, or we're going to put our sticker, or that is what you're going to put on that's going to give it that pop-up feature. So let's show how to do a heart for the middle piece. So I took some scrap paper, and the best way how I learned how to cut out a heart is to cut it in half, or sorry, to fold it in half. And then where the crease is, that is where you're not going to cut. So you are going to basically make the top part of a two. So I'm going to draw it to show you what I mean. So there's my two, and so a heart, we use this top part. So I just drew from one corner up and then down to the other corner, and then that's where I'm going to cut it to make it into a heart. I have a couple friends that can cut out perfectly symmetrical hearts just on their own from a flat piece of paper, and I think that's amazing. I, ever since I was really little, have had to do the cut it or fold it in half and then cut out the two. So I cut it out, and then when I open it up, voila, a little heart. To give it that double look, like I have in here, I'm going to take some red paper, and that's going to be my contrast color, but you can do whatever color you want. You can do whatever shape you want. And I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it in half a little bit better than I did. And I'm going to take this heart, and let's say I want this heart to be the bigger heart. I'm going to fold it in the crease and kind of see where the size is. And I'm going to make myself a little mark right where the top of that 2 is. And I know that mine needs to be smaller than that. So I'm going to take it away, and I'm going to use that line for the mark. I'm going to make it a little shorter. So there's the mark on where my pink one is, and there's my part of a 2 to make my heart, and I'm going to cut it out. Okay, and so there's my little red one, and I'm going to open it up. There it is. And I am going to open up my pink one, and I'm going to put my red one on top and kind of line it up in the creases. And then if I really like this and how it turned out, I'm going to glue them together. And like I said, for your card, you can choose any shape in the middle. You can do balloons, you can do a bear popping out or a kitty. Just think about the person that you're making the card for. It may be something that they would like. And you can put whatever you want on that front piece. So now that I've glued them together, I am going to, where are you guys? Okay, over here. I'm going to attach it to that front piece right there. So I'm going to use my glue stick again. And I'm just going to put a dollop of purple glue. And then I'm just going to attach it. And you're going to want to make sure that the crease where it pops out on the bottom, that your shape doesn't go below that, because you want for it to stand up. So I'm just going to push it on, put it close, and then open it up, and there it is. Now, if you saw the one that I used as my example in the beginning of the video, you see that I've got pink cardstock on the back. Why did I put pink cardstock on the back? Well, pink is one of my favorite colors, but the card that we made has got this hole in it. So when they pull it out of the envelope, they're going to see a nook in it. And so the pink cardstock, by going over it, the card just looks like an everyday card. So how did I do that? So you can do a couple different things. I took a sheet of cardstock and I cut it down the middle, just like I did with my white piece of paper. I folded it like a hamburger and cut it right down the middle. So it's the same size as this. I noticed when I was practicing for the video, what I did was I made this part with the pop out. Oh, it's upside down. I made this part, and then I glued it to the flat piece of paper, and I don't have my practice with me, but it came out really funky. The paper didn't attach to it properly. It was really bubbled, and it didn't fold very well. So then I started playing. So for me to make this one where it looks far more attached and cleaner, what I did was I took my cardstock and I folded it in half. And went ahead and gave it that good crease. And so then when I go to glue this piece in, I have the creases meet, and then I glue the top part, lay it, like kind of make sure that it's on there flat, and then I glue the bottom part, and then it opens up much better. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. While I'm gluing, some things that you can do is, and I wouldn't do this part until you are done with your card, until you've made sure that you don't want to add any more pop-out features. or anything else to the card. But what you can do with your card is you can write something on the very top of the card. You can put, oh, that's it. You can write, I love, and then you down at the bottom. You can put a little message. You can draw little pictures in the background. Just kind of your imagination. Just let it go wild and have fun with it. Handmade cards are one of the best ways to show a person that you care, because you're taking time and you're taking your creative energy and you're putting it into a very tangible something that they can hold. And so this you can give to somebody just as is and just say, hey, I made you a card, happy Valentine's Day, or just cuz, or maybe it's their birthday. You can do that. If you see them in person, you can definitely mail this out to somebody that either lives near or far from you. So I wanted to show you how to do that. So what I would do is I would find an envelope that can fit my card. And the best way to find that out is just to put your card on top of the envelope and just make sure that there's some room. So once I am done with my card, I'll put it into my envelope. And then you can seal it. This one has a sticker, so you just peel that off. And then I would address it. And if you have never addressed an envelope before, that is 100% okay. The expert in everything is once a beginner. So you can ask your parents or an older sibling to help you address the envelope. I'm going to show you just kind of a cheat sheet on how to do that. So here's my pretend envelope. It is just a piece of computer paper, but I wanted to show you when you are thinking about who you're going to send your card to, that is who you're going to send it to. Their name is going to go right here in the middle, and you're going to write out their full name. So if I was sending this to, if somebody was sending this to me, my name is Beth Chatterton. They wouldn't write Beth there, they would write Beth Chatterton. If you are sending it to your grandma or grandpa, you're not going to write grandma or grandpa. You're going to write their full names out there. And sometimes you might need some help spelling that out, and that's okay. Underneath the person's name, you're going to write their street address. So that is the number that is on their house along with the street that they live on. So their house is there 3022, you would write 3022. And if they live on West Jackson, you would do a W for West and then write Jackson. And then do they live on a street, a circle, a drive? You would add that to it. So it would be Beth Chatterton, 3022 West Jackson Street. Then the city would be Macomb, state, good old Illinois. And then the zip code for Macomb is 61455. So that is where you want to write who you're going to send it to, and you can definitely ask for help to get somebody's address. Your writing does not need to be fancy in any way, but it does have to be neat. So make sure to use your best penmanship there. Now, when somebody gets something in the mail, they usually are able to see who it's from. And that's because the sender, the person sending them the envelope or the package, they put their information right here on the top corner. So this would be the top right. So the person you're sending it to, you put their information in the middle, you put your information in the top right. And you're going to follow the exact same format that you did when you were putting your senders. You're going to write your name. I wouldn't write just Beth. I would go ahead and write out my full name, Beth Chatterton. And then I would put my street address and, 3022 West Jackson Street. City, I would write Macomb. State, good old Illinois. And zip code 61455. And then what goes in this corner, in the upper left corner? Can you remember? It's a stamp. You want to put your fancy stamp right there. The envelope will not be mailed unless there's proper postage put on the upper left-hand corner. So once you have that all situated, then you can take your envelope with your special made card and you can drop it off in a postage box. You can leave it in your mailbox for your post person to take it to who you intend the card to go to. You can even go to the post office and give it to the postal person there. So yes, I hope you learned something new. I hope you have fun making pop-up cards. Like I said, you can put anything in the middle. You can do drawings and writings all around it. You can even decorate the top or even the back. On the back, you can even write, made with love, by, and then write your name on it. This is just a great little starter. And you can just kind of do the sky's the limit on how much you want it to pop out, how many pop outs you want it to be. So I hope you learned something new. I hope you had fun, and I hope that you stay warm. And I will see you all on next Wednesday. So have a great day.